Welcome to BTS Spins FFs. Disclaimer: this is a complete work of fanfiction. Jungkook, can you help me choose a dress? Wait, I'll show you how it looks. With that saying, she went towards the changing room and returned back in a beautiful dress, but it was true and everything. She smirks to see him gulp, but he immediately averts his gaze to their side, maintaining his professional calm face. One size, like always, her plan didn't work. He was true professional to her dismay and but she was just a girl who had already given her heart to this giant man, who was extremely cold-hearted and have every right to crush her heart whenever he wanted. When felt her eyes glossy as she immediately ran back and changed her outfit, her mood already got sour. No matter how much she tried and how many times she tried to get his attention, he never paid attention to her like she was enigma or something that will him alive. When starts walking out of store, her personal bodyguard Jungkook with few other bodyguards immediately followed her behind. She was daughter of most famous business tycoon, rich and spoiled daddy princess. Jungkook frowns when he saw her moving outside instead of food court as per her previous order. She was so hungry. As he marched towards her with two long strides, he was in front of her, which made her frown. Yes, this is not the way towards food court, ma'am. His voice was husky but cold, which always made her feel shiver down her spine. But today he had made her mood sore than usual. I'm not hungry. I want to go back home. Now, if we step aside, he blinks, but obeyed immediately, silently stepping away and following her behind in one stride, heart clenched. She don't know why she thinks he is different and he will reciprocate her feelings for him. Too, when in real, he always do the complete opposite of this. Anne was looking outside car, her eyes was burning with unshed tears. She was just want to go back home and cry her heart out. One was 24-year old, graduated in zoology, young, confident, beautiful girl, who unfortunately fall in love with a bodyguard who is extremely cold-hearted person and will not even spare her a glance until unless she demanded in front of him. Might have proposed Jungkook so many times, but he have always rejected her. No matter what she do or try to do, it never works. He always ignore her presence, which always ended up making her felt hurt. But she can understand too. He's just doing his duty, and her father probably immediately if he tried to cross line. One sighs, massaging her temples as she looks outside only to see her car stop in front of a takeaway. She frowns, but before she processed, Jungkook handed her two bags. Eat it, I know you're hungry, he demanded. When grits her teeth, she hated when he ordered her around. You have gotten wrong idea, Mr. Jungkook. I'm not hungry. She tried to give him paper bags back, but he pushed back the paper bags with food in her lap. Either eat it or throw it away. His tone clipped and cold like always. When grits her teeth as she him underneath her breath. She looks inside paper bag only to find her favorite food. Her mouth watered. She was surely hungry but didn't eat in her anger. And how can she throw away a delicious meal? Fine, she huffs, pretending annoyance, as she sighs and starts eating it silently. See, that was a big reason of her feelings for him. One was going to confess today, like officially confess, with a ring, and she was happy and scared at the same time. She had decorated everything, making it looking like most beautiful place ever, as she waited for his presence. Ma'am, he murmured, standing behind her as she turned towards him with a smile in her face. I know Jungkook asked you before to be my boyfriend, but you checked it. But I don't know why I have feelings. You also likes me too. She sat on her knees as she extended box of ring in front of him with a smile on her lips. I have feelings for you, Jungkook. Please marry me. His expressions doesn't change, nor he react or move. Please get up. You're embarrassing both of us, and I'm sorry. I can't reciprocate your feelings, nor I will accept your proposal. I'm sorry if you got any wrong idea from my any action, but I don't have feelings for you, and please stop saying these things again and again. You're only embarrassing yourself and me. You're lying. You care for me. She hiccups with sobs, and he shakes his head as no. You're wrong, ma'am. Taking care of you is a part of my responsibility. Nothing else. When heart clenched, her all hopes shattered today. He finally break her heart, which she gave him in a plate. She was not able to stop her sobs. Get out, she yelled. Get out of my sight and never show me your face again. You're fired. Get lost, she yelled. He stared at her for a brief moment. When expect him, he will say something, but he didn't, as he just nods and left while she fell on the floor and burst into more tears. Dad, she calls her father, who was reading a newspaper. As he looks up towards her, I'm ready to marry the guy you want me to. She told him while looking down, her face expressionless, while she was hiding her tears. And her father smiles to hear this. Really? She nods. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I want the marriage to happen within a week. Isn't it too early, princess? No, I just want to marry as soon as possible. But then wait another second as she ran upstairs toward her room and cried more. It's been a week, she proposed him, and he left. She never saw him again. Her heart clenched every time she thinks about him. One sighs. Standing in front of a mirror, she was looking like a princess, but she was motionless, eyes red as if she had been crying for hours. She tried to find love, but probably love was not written in her fate. One sighs heavily, sitting unsure. There was no one around, and that's when she heard noise, making her too startled and scared. Who's there? She called. Love of your life. She heard a husky voice, but before she processed anything, he suppressed something on her face, making her to feel dizzy and lost her consciousness. But the last thing she saw before passing out was she writing something in Jungkook's face. Wind groans, massaging her temples as she slowly get up in a strange surroundings. But then her gaze moved towards someone sitting on shore, puffing. Am I dreaming, or are you really here, Jungkook? She blinks innocently, staring him like a lost puppy. Well, she was still feeling lightly dizzy as she held her head. What do you think, princess? He drawled, coming closer as he cupped her cheeks, and his thumb started grazing her cheek slightly, making her to flush. He smirks to know how responsive her body is to him. Surely a dream, a really good dream with you. She smiles, blinking her eyes, showing dimples on her cheeks, and her fingertips absently trailed a mark on his face. Because apparently I was supposed to be in my arranged husband's room by now. She bowed sadly, and his eyes darkened, hearing her words. Before she knew what was coming next, he pulled her towards him by grabbing her nape, and before she realized his intentions, he took her in a. When I saw then on his sudden act, and it took her a few minutes to realize it was not a dream, nor was she hallucinating, making her to gasp and taking the opportunity he roamed his in her mouth, devouring every corner like a mad beast that he was. Both break it breathing, but before Vine got the chance to confront him and question his shot from her jaw to neck, she let out a with closed eyes. Were you planning to be in ways too? Hmm? He growled near her mouth as she flinched while blinking her eyes. It took her a few seconds to realize the whole situation, as she hastily looks around, being more composed than before, and the last thing she remembered was in bridal room, and Jungkook came there. And now she was sure, and he was acting like a possessive psycho boyfriend. His again saw living sloppy on her, but now one seems in anger. What did he even think he was doing? Did he forget what he said a week ago? Her eyes turned dreary as he hastily pushed him, and a hard slap landed on his face, making him to shock. But later he started foaming in anger. On the other side, one was mustering up his exact same look on her face. Who do you think you are, and how dare you touch me, Annie? She looks round the room again. You have practically kidnapped me on my wedding day, she hissed, anger bubbling up in her system. Jingle pulled her closer by grabbing her from her till there was inches apart, his whole body radiating, anger and fury clearly visible on his face. Were you planning to? Your arranged husband at this time? He almost crawls, and she glared him as she tried to push him away, but only for him to pull her more closer towards him. I will do whatever I want with my husband or anyone else who you are to question me. He chuckles in mockery. Till last week, you were begging me to accept you. Were you that desperate? Another harsh landed on his face, making one to feel stinging feeling in her hand by the intensity of her. I'm not the kidnapper here, nor I'm practically shoving myself on the other and trying to and being with her without their consent. She grits and he laughs on her words, slightly rubbing his cheeks. Oh, I see. I got the wrong idea, I guess. Probably take you back, right? But you better luck. I'm not doing this. He smirks, getting up. Fresh up, I'll send someone to call you for breakfast. He chirped, going outside. I'm not coming or doing anything, she yelled, but huffs in annoyance and frustration when he didn't listen. Exercise, and after calming her nerves fresh up, as soon as she came outside, she heard a knock on door and opened it only to find Bodyguard standing in front of the door in black uniform. Ma'am started calling you for breakfast. She frowns. Was this man a bodyguard? Does Tim Cook need bodyguard for himself too? Coming out of her thoughts, why nods and follow him behind silently. She was cautiously looking around, observing every angle of house. No, it was no less than a mansion. Is it possible to afford this luxury mansion, despite being a bodyguard? Probably not. One was thinking all this kind of stuff in her mind. They stopped in a room and she saw a giant dining table and Jungkook seated in head seat. A few people on some of the seats, she fronts getting confused with every passing second. Jungkook signaled her to come and sit beside him, but remembering her life mission to annoy him and being a rebellious kitten that he always called her, she started moving towards far other side of table. Jungkook clenched his jaw, and before she knew, he was already on his toes. Her eyes widened when he threw her on his shoulder, making her yelp. Yeah, what are you doing? She yelled, slapping his back in attempts to escape, but nothing was helping the situation. He put her on the floor near her table. But instead of making her sit on chair next to his chair, he sat down and made her sit on his. One eyes widened. This is perfect place for you to sit, isn't it, my fisty kitten? Huskily near her ear, his breath fanned her shoulder, making her feel a shiver run down her spine. Her cheeks turned pink when she found herself in front of her audience. In this situation, Jungkook, leave me, you're crossing your all limits. His hand went to her, making her gasp. Limits? He mused. I have every right to touch you, baby, he smirks as she frowns, not understanding even a single word from his lips. Stop overthinking and putting pressure on this pretty little brain of yours and have your breakfast. I know you have questions and I'll give you all answers, but after breakfast. But one protested, but shut her mouth with closed eyes when he her shoulder as she let out a shaky breath. Later, princess, I promise I'm all yours and give you answers of your every question. But after you have breakfast, now be my good girl and eat quietly. You have already reduced weight in less than a week. One gulps a lump as she looked up only to see the other guys already staring at her with amused looks. While smirking, her cheeks turned pink in embarrassment. As she immediately averted her gaze on the floor, when knew there is no room of argument left, so she started eating silently. A pancake with blueberry sauce, her favorite. Of course, he knew what she likes. I'm done. One murmured, pushing back the plate. Two more pancakes and a glass of milk, or else you're not getting a single answer, he drawled in her ear. The mere fact that she was practically sitting on Beast's lap was already doing many things to her, and now the occasional and his free hand caressing her was not helping the situation at all. I can't, this is too much, she protested. You have options, baby. Eat it yourself like a good girl, or I will. With my. He rasps huskily as he grabbed her jaw, making her to face him, and her lips making her more flushed and embarrassed than she already was. Her haul was by now, as she coughed, flicking towards two outsiders and silently started eating food with lower head, her cheeks darker than crimson color. One was staring the guys whom she never saw before while silently munching her food, and Jungkook read the curious look on her face. Let me introduce them to you. He's Jiang and he's Jimin, and they're my best friends. He pointed towards both of them as they waved towards mine, smiling, which she returned gladly. Welcome home, sister-in-law. Welcome in our gang, sister-in-law. You're honestly more pretty in person. He drawled with a wink, while Jungkook gesticulated at him, while the girl was too flustered to process their words and response as she just nods. What is this happening? Why did you kidnap me in the first place? She yells, frustrated. My your friends were calling me sister-in-law. Her cheeks slightly turned pink. Shh, baby, relax, he whispered huskily near her lips, as he pulled her closer and his arm wrapped around her waist when felt tingles on his touch. What are you doing? She took a shaky breath while he snuggled in her and started giving her some light, making her to close her eyes in ecstasy. Then please stop this, she managed to say with her. He nods as he takes a step away and gives her an envelope. She takes out papers from it and frowns, looking towards him. Read it. She did, and her eyes widened in shock. What? How is it possible? When did I marry you? She was in pure shock while he was enjoying show while smirking. He walked to his chair and sat on it like a king, his whole body radiating confidence, danger, and power. Come here, love. She moved towards him but maintained a fair distance, so he pulled her on his, making her to shock and flush again. Signed papers yesterday, love, remember? She shakes her head as no, but then a memory flashed in her brain. She did sign some papers yesterday, but she didn't know it was marriage papers, which clearly says she's Jinkook's wife. The thought made her happy and angry at the same time as she grabbed him from his collars. How could you? Me. Why you did that? I didn't even knew what I was doing and signing. How could you do this with me? Sobs. He held her hand as he slightly pushed it away from his collars. Tell me you don't want this, or you don't want to marry me, and don't like me being your husband, and I will file for divorce papers right away. One heart clenched for some unknown reason. I promise I don't have any other option, and this was only the safe option for both of us. She looks up towards him, eyes slightly glossy. But you said you don't like me, she almost whispers as he cupped her cheeks and lips softly. Because I'm in love with you, and I'm madly in love with you. Her eyes widened in shock, and he sighs. It's a long story. Would you like to listen, love? He just nods in response. Relax, woman. I have your all answers. Have some patience. He chuckles to see her flushed herself and crease her cheeks slightly while she looks down in shyness. Well, I first time see you in the mall 6 months ago. Got your information, were able to hold back, and ended up appointing as your personal bodyguard. Originally, I just wanted to be close to you, but later those feelings grow stronger. Now the question is why reject you? Well, being mafia means your life is in line 24/7, and I don't want to drag you in my mess. But when I got to know you were getting married, his hands clenched. One hold back and end up kidnapping and marry you. He grins like a psycho in an unsure rolls her eyes. What a pathetic excuse, she huffs. You just don't know my life just yet, but trust me, your safety is my first priority. Why not, sighing, so where you want to stay? I'll leave. She looks up towards him. What could I possibly say? No, like I have any other option because you already marry me. She murmurs, playing with his shirt buttons, and shrugs as he grins, while she tried to hide her own smile that was ready to bloom any second. She was internally so happy to know he had some same feelings for her, and especially when they're already married. She won't let him escape now, would she? Never. She smirks. I love you, he murmured, her neck as she automatically closed her eyes. I never knew my cold-hearted Bodyguard will turn of this clingy and romantic. He smirks. Only for my wife. Blush rose to her cheeks. Ah, look at yourself, getting flustered now. He teased, making her huff in annoyance. Stop teasing me, she blushed more and hid her face in his chest. He chuckled, strapping his arm round her waist as he pulled her closer. I can't wait to live rest of my life with you, princess. So am I, she almost whispered, smiling. Wait, she pushed away as she looked up towards him. What about my father? You know he will do everything to find me and take me back. She panics. He relaxed off. He creased her cheek slightly, making her to took a deep breath. I'll manage. That's my problem to handle. You don't need to think about it. But she was still panicking, so I interrupted by softly making her to close her eyes and butterflies swing to life in her stomach. I promise, Swan, no one can take you away from me, especially now when you are my wife. Never. As about your father, I have my ways. He winks his hand, making some random circles on her back, soothingly. Her nerves, as she sighs, having no option other than to trust him. Okay, she murmured, lying her head back on his chest, while her hands start playing with his veins in his hands. He just smiles to see her action. Thanks for watching.